my doctoral program was a specialization in trauma-informed care leadership and
Wow.
practice. So I said, I need to start telling people about this. And the second thing that I did, I went back to Harvard Medical School where I got global mental health, trauma and recovery. And I said, I need to speak more
Yeah.
about this. So that is the reason I started Elisme Consulting Services, so I can reach out to people and let them know I have the live experience, I have the academic background, but also I have the cultural piece where we can bring all that into practice and support people who do not have a whole lot of people looking like us, giving them the information at that level.
Burnout is not a personal failure, it's a system problem. Watch the full episode on Take Charge with Dr. Chichi now.
Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where nurses take control, break barriers, and build a future of financial freedom and career success. Whether you're burned out, ready to level up, or looking for the blueprint to thrive, you're in the right place. It's time to lead, grow, and win because your future starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Chichi.
Welcome back to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, the show where nurses and healthcare professionals reclaim their peace, power, and financial future. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or ready to take bold steps forward, this space is for you. Let's grow, lead, and thrive together. Welcome to part two of Burnout is Not Personal Failure, Understanding Burnout as a Nervous System and Leadership Issue by Dr. Erlange Elisme. Dr. Elisme is a doctor of social work, behavioral health consultant, trauma-informed care and resilience specialist, and founder of Elisme Consulting Services LLC, with over 30 years of experience working in education and social work system. She has witnessed firsthand the long-term cost of chronic stress on individuals, families and organizations and leaders. She equips leaders and organizations with practical tools to address burnout, build resilience, and create sustainable system of care. Her message is clear. Sustainability and well-being must be centered, not sacrificed. Leaders need practical tools, not just awareness, to address burnout and build healthier systems. So welcome back to the show, Dr. Elisme. Good to have you here.
Thank you. It's so good to come back.
I'm so excited to see you again.
Mhm.
On the part one of the episode, we talked about burnout and we talked about the nervous neuroscience aspect of it. And, people just know that they're stressed out and that they're burned out, but I think you want to go a little bit deep so that people can actually appreciate what goes on inside. And also, you want to speak to professionals on how to keep on taking charge. So, I'll want us to dive deep right now. So, the first question that I want to ask you will be that you've been researching, because I know you're a researcher, and you research the intersection of neuroscience and burnout in nursing and healthcare. So, what do you want nurses and healthcare professionals to know about what is happening in their bodies when burnout takes hold?
Thank you so much for this question. What I want them to recognize is that it's biological.
Mm,
It is science. What they are experiencing is science, is biological. There is that explanation. When burnout takes hold, it is not just an emotional exhaustion. The prefrontal cortex,
mm,
which is responsible for clinical reasoning, for emotional regulation and empathy, becomes less effective under chronic stress. The amygdala becomes hyperactive. The nervous system gets stuck in a mobilized state. So, research has shown measurable changes And this brand regions and people who are experiencing clinical burnout. That matters
Mm.
because it means this is not about willpower. It is about what chronic, unrelenting occupational stress does to the human brain.
Mm.
And the good news is that these changes are not permanent. With intentional recovery, neural function can be restored.
Okay. So if you break it down for someone that is not scientifically oriented, like a lay person, how will someone listening understand it?
So in our brain, we have that part that is called um, amygdala. It's
Uh-huh.
like the fire station, fire alarm,
I
right?
like how you're breaking it down now.
Yes, the fire alarm
Mm-hmm.
goes bing, bing,
Mm-hmm.
bing, 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 and you need to react. So that's what it does. It becomes so hyperactive
Mm-hmm.
that if you do not know what is going on, you will think that it's you. There is something going on. It's because it's reacting to something else. And I talk about the prefrontal cortex. That's
Mm-hmm.
what is really responsible for reasoning, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that part of your brain is um over triggered by
Mm-hmm.
the amygdala, by everything else that is going on, you cannot think clearly. So basically, that's what the science is saying, is that when those parts of the brain are not um, regulated, you do not think clearly. Let me give you an example. You have a kid in school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the kid is experiencing a lot of stress at home or in the community. And you send the child to school and the teacher teaches them the ABCs.
Yeah.
Usually after several repetition, the kid knows A and they can read it, uh, but when those systems, especially the prefrontal cortex,
Mm-hmm.
is activated, they cannot retain information.
Wow.
So when the amygdala is activated, you can see behavior issues because then your system is just there to protect you. And then that's why we see a lot of behavior issues in school.
Okay.
Um, so it's the science is saying even those things, there are some explanations for them.
Wow. So for healthcare professionals that get exposed to an environment that is burning them out, you said something about decision making, and I'm thinking about maybe someone that is in a healthcare field, they're in an environment that is burning them out, and it's difficult for them to make a decision because, like we all know, burnout comes in a very subtle way. It's not that trigger that just goes there and
Hmm.
keep on telling you, look, I'm burned out, I'm stressed. It's not. It just comes in a subtle way. How
Hmm.
does the description that you just gave relate to a healthcare professional?
Well,
When
you
you
get
were saying that,
upset.
I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's making them, oh, this place is fine, or it's okay, you can still handle it, just keep on staying there. So just break it down a little bit for.
And that is another conversation. This is a whole lot because some people will actually say, okay, yeah, let me just be there
Mhm.
because the way they respond to trauma is very different from other people. So
Mhm.
some people just collapse and do what they need to do.
Mm,
That's another part of trauma.
mm,
But when they are triggered, one thing that I've seen is the mistakes that they make.
mm,
Instead of giving that medication, they make a mistake that can be fatal to
mm,
someone and fatal also to their financial outcome because when you make one of those mistakes, there can be a lawsuit. There can be so many other things that come. They can get fired. So when we're talking about when the systems are activated and there is no recourse, those things can happen. And someone can say something that usually you could tolerate, right? Because we know
Mm-hmm.
those areas, there can be a lot of people that say things that are mean to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We tolerate them because we want to be there, right? But your
Yeah.
fuse becomes shorter and you react. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
those are
like how
some
you broke it
examples.
down. You
Uh-huh.
know, I have a seminar coming up, Burnout to Breakthrough, Pulse, Heal, Reset, Rise seminar coming up, and I have an attorney as part of the panelists that will bring in the legal aspect of this, what you just mentioned,
Mhm.
because it's not just being in an environment that burns you out. You can be there and get yourself in trouble because
Yes,
of those views that you just talked about.
because of those things. And then
Yeah.
now it's biology, right? It's
Hmm.
not because you did something wrong. You're reacting to something that is wrong. But guess who's going to pay the price
You.
if you are not aware and you're not taking care of it? So it should be the individual taking care of it, but also it should be the system
The
helping
system taking
you.
care of it.
Yes.
So the individual taking care of it is important because when they're in that environment where the leadership is not taking care of it or denying that such stuff exists, it's now
Hmm.
the responsibility of the individual to take charge before
Hmm.
they find themselves in a serious trouble.
It is
Mhm.
for me when I realized that, well, nothing is going to change and my system just cannot take it. This is the time that I make a decision and say, okay, well, this is not an environment for me. But
I did that too. I did that
not
too.
everybody can do that,
Yeah, I did
you
that
know.
too.
Mhm.
That's interesting. So, many nurses and healthcare professionals feel guilty. We just talked about taking charge in an environment, but most of these nurses or healthcare professionals, they feel so guilty of being burnt out because they entered the profession to help others. So they're thinking, how can they address the tension in their work? They get confused, like because they're there to help, and they're like, Hmm. Then this deep thought of how to take care of this tension at work. So what is your input on that?
Well, the worst thing that can happen is that we're not going to school costs a lot.
Yeah.
You pay a lot to go to school and you went because you really wanted to help people, right?
Hmm.
And then now the guilt is probably the most painful part of burnout for nurses or anyone in the healthcare industry. They chose this profession because they really care, because they really want to do what they need to do. So when the caring starts to feel heavy, naturally, right?
Hmm.
Notice yourself being detached or irritable. And the first response is often shame.
Hmm.
Okay. And there must be something wrong with me. I paid all that money. I should be stronger than that. I need to, I felt that in education. I saw that. I saw that in education. I saw that in healthcare. I saw that in my sibling where they felt like, um, I've done all this, but for what?
What?
So it's really the reaction is normal. I understand the reaction. It makes sense in context, right? When a nervous system has been in a state of constant chronic activation for months or for years, emotional numbing and detachment are protective responses. It's not really because they are bad or did anything wrong. It's just because that's the result of exhaustion.
Oh my goodness. You just sound like you're talking to me.
Mm,
And the bad part of this is if you have hypertension or you have diabetes, right? They run tests and they treat you for that. You just said something about being in an environment and you get numb because of this constant stressor.
mm,
It could be microaggressions, it could be
mm,
bias, it could be racism, it could be anything in your job environment that is causing burnout, or what would I say, excluding you from things that
mhm,
could be the stressor that is causing your burnout in your environment. And you've taken this for so many years and you found ways to take care of yourself so that you don't go crazy. I use the word crazy because,
mm,
you
mhm,
said the short fuse, right?
mhm,
You go through all this and now you can't do it anymore. You start having, what people might call post-traumatic stuff,
mhm,
but they don't see it. Or whoever gives you approval to take time off to go get yourself together do not see it because of course it's not hypertension, it's not diabetes, it's not something, but psychologically you're going down and you don't feel like that environment is healthy for you. They don't see it that you need to get help.
mhm.
So while you were talking about this, now I'm like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It just sounded like you're talking to me. So
Yeah,
how does cultural background, especially for immigrants and first generation professionals, shape the way someone experiences and responds to burnout?
for us, it's very different.
Yes.
And for many immigrant communities, we don't even think in terms of burnout or mental health issues. I can think back in Haiti, you don't talk about mental health issues, really, because you suppose we don't even have the word for depression in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
So in many cultures, I know that exists. In many immigrant communities, including there is a deep value placed on hard work,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice, and
Mm-hmm.
resilience. Those are strengths, right? But they can also make it harder
Yes.
for us to name when something is wrong.
Yeah.
Because rest can feel like betrayal of the sacrifices others made. So you could be here. First generation professionals often carry the weight of their family's investment.
Mm.
Nurses, healthcare professionals, teachers who are also navigating language barriers, code switching, right? How do I act here or
Mm.
there? Or cultural invisibility in the workplace are spending energy on things their colleagues never have to deal with. You don't have to think about that if you were born here and you understand the codes, you understand what is going on. But every time I go to a school, I have to try to change how I act because
Mm.
I want to be part of that,
The system.
yes. So that is an additional layer of neurological and emotional demand that standard wellness programs do not provide and do not account for.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So what is one thing a nurse or healthcare professional listening right now do today to begin interrupting the burnout cycle in their own body? So, in
Mhm.
other words, how can they take charge?
Well, it's something that we all can do. It's so easy, it's almost ridiculous. Before you go in, you just put one hand right there on your chest and you breathe in just like you smelling something to your nose
Mm,
and I try to invite people to breathe through their noses because when you experience a lot of trauma you do not breathe like other people,
mm-hmm,
And I'll say something briefly about breath. I believe in the Bible, and I believe that most books, um, spiritual religions talk about breath in a way that it's life-giving, right?
Mm.
So when God breathes into us, He breathes life into
Right.
us. So when we breathe also, we're reminding our nervous system that I am a divine being. I was created by God. I have life in me. So when we breathe in, it's a reminder that we are alive, and then we
Mhm.
hold it for 2 seconds, and then we breathe out.
Wow.
So we are letting our system know that we're safe.
Wow.
We breathe in to remind us our nature,
Mm-hmm.
and we breathe out
Mm-hmm.
to tell our system that right here, right now, I'm safe.
Wow.
Very easy, but very
So
powerful.
so you can do that breathing and breathing out, right?
Mhm.
If you're still in that environment that is stressing you out or burning you out, you do a lot of breathing and then and out.
Mhm.
Is there any long-term way to also take that stress or go out of that environment so you don't keep on facing the same problem?
Mhm. Yeah, that would be long term, but sometimes just resetting the nervous system, just reminding the nervous system that I'm safe
Yes,
helps a
that's
whole
good.
lot.
That's good.
But you have to do it. You have to stop it. You just, well, even that is better than
It's better
nothing.
than nothing.
But you breathe in and you let go. And
Let
and
go.
if you do it, you will feel your shoulders dropping.
Mm.
That's part of
It
telling
helps you
that,
to distress.
yes,
Wow,
telling your system that you're safe.
that's good. That's good. So, Dr. Lismi, I know you've written so many books, Can you share some of your books? Because I know from the discussions we've had so far, I would like to read your books at least to learn more about some of the stuff we talked about today. I know you're also an educator, and you probably have written some children's book. I saw some of them. If you can share with the people listening, that would be amazing.
So one of that exercise that I just did and showed you, it's
Hmm.
in my book, Reclaim Your Sanctuary,
Hmm.
13 body-based practices for nervous system healing.
Wow.
They are very short exercises, like things you can do in 1 minute.
Mm,
And then after that, I explain the science behind it.
mm,
Um, the practice one, we talk about the breath and how to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And
mm.
then you notice it, just noticing. I'm big on awareness because
Awareness.
when you're aware that you're living, you're aware that you're still here.
Hmm.
So that's this book, Reclaim Your Sanctuary.
And it's
I've
on
written,
Amazon, right?
it's on Amazon. My
It's on
books are on
Amazon. Okay.
Amazon. You just if you tap my name, Erlange Elisme, they all will come up. This one is
I
it's
read
the
that one. I love that one.
yes, that's the book because I was looking for good
You can
books.
raise it up a little bit more so we can. There you go.
Yes. I was looking for good books for kids who need to know about resilience, right?
Hmm.
And I wrote that this is actually part of my story that I put in
Can you say the
language.
name of the book and then
It's called Solange's Journey.
Solange's journey, okay?
Journey. It's really my story when I came to America and how I left my parents left before me and they sent for me and I left my grandma. But what is interesting in the book, it's not that I talk about the story and talk about resilience. I also have questions for kids to connect with the story. And I really um ask parents to read it with their kids. So we
Mhm.
can ask the question, for instance, if you could jump into the story, what would you say to me, like to Solange? Okay. How did this chapter make you feel? Happy, sad, excited. So we are teaching kids early on to know what they are feeling. Because when people don't know what they are feeling, they cannot really say, okay, well, I'm not doing well right now. So those books help them, help kids to feel their feel. I've written many books. There are some of them are just coloring books. So women especially can just sit and trace because that's part of resetting your nervous system. When you are overwhelmed, arts has a big part in our
Mm,
recovery. So I've written some books. There is one that it talks about a science. It talks about faith and it talks about and it gives you all the pictures, the coloring things to do. So you're learning, but you're doing also. One of the books that I've written that I love, and I'm just going to read something on it. It's anchored. Let me see if I can how to okay.
yeah,
Anchored
anchored
and
and
unshaken,
shaken.
restoring the soul of Haitian women through faith, culture, and sacred rest. I
Wow.
know that I chose Haitian women for that book, but it's really a very universal book because we all go through the same thing. Um, Let me read a little bit about the framework that I use. The reason I call it anchor, it's because our anchor is in God.
Yes.
This book is built around the anchor framework that I created, six essential practices that help us remain grounded in God's grace, even when life's water rise.
Mm,
Think of these as six different types of anchors that work together to keep your boat steady in any storm. The first one is awareness of God's presence in every moment.
mhm,
N is nurturing the body as God's sacred temple.
mm,
C is connecting honestly with emotions and needs. And H is holding space for both lament and hope. Because when bad things happen, guess what? We need to name them. And
yes.
then we need to go back to hope because we have a God who is the God of hope.
Mm,
O is opening to community healing through
mm,
what I call Combit. Combit and Haitian Creole is getting together. When my parents were, if they had, if they planted seeds or they planted, when time to be called, we would call all the neighbors to come, the neighborhood to come and help us
harvested.
with it, harvest. Yes, so it gives us shared strength. So people need other people. You are not an island. And then R is for rest, resting in God's unfailing promises.
Mm,
So this is this book and my anchored in
wow.
unshaken.
And we can get all these books from Amazon, right?
From Amazon. If you
Yeah.
go and you just type Erlange Elisme, Elisme, my books come up.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all this important information. And how
Yes.
can you be reached? I know you have a consulting service. How can you be reached if
The
someone wants
best
to? Yeah,
the best way is to go on my website.
yeah.
It's Elisme Consulting Services. Elisme Consulting services.com. Um, People can also reach me at Elisme Consulting Services. Or if they prefer to call, they can leave a message at 678-595-6446.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you for sharing this. Is one thing talking about burnout is also good to know what happens inside of our body when we're going through this burnout. And I really appreciate you for honoring the invitation and sharing this important information with everyone listening. So it's time for listeners' reflection prompt. The reflection that we're going to have today will be, what signs has your body been giving you that you've ignored? I'll repeat that again. What signs has your body given you that you're ignoring? Am I normalizing exhaustion as success? What small change can I make this week to protect my health, which is your health? Do you ask yourself? The financial reflection will be, am I sacrificing my health because of financial pressure? What steps can I take to build financial stability so I don't feel trapped in burnout? And how can I plan today to protect both my income and my health tomorrow? So share this episode with a nurse or who needs to hear it. Okay? So tell yourself, I will listen to my body. That's one thing you need to do. You've heard Dr. Elisme share all this important information. Listen to your body. Yes. Subscribe to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi for more transformational conversations. And burnout is not a badge of honor, it is a warning sign. Your health matters more than your shift. Take charge. Taking charge is not a weakness, it's wisdom. So keep on taking charge. And thank you so much, Dr. Elisme, for coming. And thank you for sharing all these inspiring and transformational stories that you presented to us today. We really appreciate you.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And we'll talk again. We'll see
We'll
each
talk
other.
again.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Mhm. Thank
Thank you. So keep on taking charge. Let me pause right here because I have something very special for you. Have you been feeling overwhelmed, constantly tired, giving so much to everyone else, but you have nothing left for yourself? Then this is for you. This is not just another event. This is your moment to pause, your opportunity to heal, your chance to reset, and your decision to rise. I am personally inviting you to a transformational experience, Burnout to Breakthrough, Pause, Heal, Reset, Rise seminar. Join me live in Duluth, Georgia, Holiday Inn Atlanta, Gals South Arena, 6310 Sugarloaf Parkway, Duluth, Georgia, 30097 on May 2nd, 2026. The seminar starts at 10 a.m. Registration and networking begins at 9 a.m. So reserve your seat at www.sparklingstar.org, www.sparklingstar.org. If you want to be a vendor for the event, also go to www.sparklingstar.org and click on the vendor tab to save your spot. This is not a sit and listen event. You will learn how to identify and overcome burnout, gain practical tools for your next level, connect with powerful, purpose-driven people, live with clarity and renewed energy. Let me tell you, we've made this experience even more special. Lunch will be provided. You will be eligible for a giveaway draw, and then make it a friend's educational outing. Register 5 people and 6% attends free. So listen, seats are limited. Don't want you watching this later wishing you had been there. So here is what I want you to do right now. Click on the link below on the description section, secure your seat, and make decision for you. Don't delay it. Don't overthink it. It's your moment. It's time to take charge, heal, reset, rise, and I'll see you there. Thank you so much, Dr. Elisme, for coming to this episode of Take Charge with Dr. Chichi to keep on growing and keep on taking charge. Thank you so much, Dr. Elisme, for coming.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Continue to take charge, and bye for now.
Take Charge with Dr. Chichi is a brand of Sparkling Star Development Strategies LLC. The information provided is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or medical advice. Financial services are offered independently by Dr. Chichi in accordance with applicable licensing and regulatory standards. Thank you for watching.